Hey guys, so this is going to be your new moon in Aries reading. Of course, we're in the middle of Aries season. That's why we have the new moon in Aries right now. We're going to be going over a tarot reading, obviously. I wanted to quickly just make a small note, as I tend to do with these readings, that this is also going to be happening on April 1st, April Fool's Day, which is traditionally associated with different topsy-turvy type festivals and trickster-oriented type festivals. Obviously, also there's an element of, fertility rites with all of the spring festivals as well. But in particular, I wanted to focus on the aspect of trickery and Aries and the concept of fire and new beginnings. In order to get from the dark wintry months into those bright new spring months, you start with a bang with Aries, right? It's a cardinal sign, it's fire, it's very much raring to go. But as we're coming out of, we've already come out of during the spring equinox, but this is kind of like the heralding of the new with the new moon, right? If you're looking at it from a lunisolar combined context, as some cultures do. As we're coming out of that energy, of Pisces, we're coming out of, there's the positive of dreams and wishes and creativity and spirituality, but there's also sometimes a bit of confusion, a bit of nebulous concepts, and not always knowing what's going on. And what's interesting about the April Fool's energy and trickster energy, and different trickster gods, Mercury, Loki, Papa Legba, the Spider Woman, all of those mythological beings, is that sometimes in order to start something new, your impetus for doing so is wanting to get out of that fog, right? Wanting to refresh your life in some way. And that's what the energy is that we're dealing with right now. It is very Aries. It's also very, April Fool's type energy. I live in a climate right now where sometimes we'll get snow on April 1st, and it's like Mother Nature giving an almost April Fool's Day trick, right? Because it feels like, oh, we were just having spring weather, and it's like, haha, we still have a little bit of cold left to go before finally spring fully comes to stay. So it's really nice to consider all the things that you want to manifest right now, because it is a new moon. Keep in mind that one of the challenges of this particular time of year is going to be not believing the cloud of fog, whatever you want to call it, mist of confusion, right? There's still going to be an element of mystery, and things might not be as they appear at first, before the brightness of that Aries light comes in. And really one of the Pisces themes from just before this energy, the lingering energy before this new moon brings in the fullness of the Aries expression, is going to be that Pisces is about faith, right? A lot of it is about faith. The Fool card kind of, it's ruled by Uranus in the tarot and that Aquarian energy as well, but a lot of people doing modern tarot will tend to associate it with Aries. It's also got a little bit of that Piscean energy though, right? There's like a cliff right before it. It's got that desire for that new beginning, that very fiery energy. But the Fool kind of has to look before he leaps, or leap before he looks in some cases, right? If the Fool is showing up in a negative reading, it's almost like he's saying, don't be too naive. But when the Fool is showing up in a positive reading, it's saying, sometimes you have to just take a leap of faith. You have to not know every single little detail going in and just hope for the best. You can't make anything happen without taking that cardinal action of Aries, and combining it with that faith of Pisces. So with that being said, we are going to try to figure out as much as we can about what's going on and what's being manifested with this new moon. I think my prediction's going to be there's going to be a lot of energy about overlooking the apparent obstacles and confusion and stresses and seeing the potential, and acting on that potential, and really just being steadfast going forward. But In any event, let's just see. Let's just dive right in and see what the tarot has to say. Oh my goodness. This is one of my bigger cards. This is why I didn't do 2 candles this time, because we're not going to have the space. As always, I do pre-shuffle these as well. I feel like that wants to come out, and I also kind of felt called to take the top. The Chariot, and the Queen of Coins. Okay, so we've got planning, manifestations. I do see a bit of like a Aquarian and Piscean energy coming in, interestingly, because we were talking about the Fool with the alien and the seahorses. Oh. 4 of Swords, 2 of Coins. Okay, now that's interesting. So, and I actually feel called to take both the top and the bottom of the deck. So we got the King of Wands there as well. 5 of Wands, and the Ace of Cups is from the top of the deck. Okay, interesting. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of people have been, you know, this is sort of in the beginning of the sentence, the beginning of this energy. Let me just make sure everything is showing up good. Okay, we're good. So what I'm seeing here is, so Aquarian energy has this propensity to come up with very unique and novel ideas. And then we've got like a bit of a Piscean energy coming in here. That's not necessarily the signs that are always part of this card. This is just what I'm seeing based on the art, intuitively reading it. We've also got a bit of a waning crescent moon in the corner there. So it's like coming out of, and we got like pigs literally flying here. So like when pigs fly, very Uranian, Aquarian, unique ideas. And then I'm also seeing Pisces along with it, with that very Neptunian seahorse, you know, the king of the sea kind of Neptunian energy there. And with the waning moon, I'm seeing it as walking away from something that's ending, walking away from like an old cycle that's coming to a close. And we are like right at that part where we're out right now as I'm recording this. We are in the middle of the waning crescent moon, and then we're going into the new moon. So people are having very unique ideas, or just ideas that maybe other people, maybe your idea is just not that crazy at all, but maybe to other people, it doesn't seem to toe the line. And you're kind of like trying to find where your puzzle piece fits in, right? Like where do you fit in to the web of life, rather than trying to, you know, you're following your North Star instead of trying to follow the straight path. You're coming off of the straight path and you're kind of charting your own course, is what I'm seeing as the energy for a lot of people. And I think it's coming off the heels of letting go of something that was just not very fulfilling and going towards something that makes more sense to you. Right here we see the Queen of Coins, or the Queen of Pentacles. Usually, and she's wearing a lot of blue, like the color of water and emotion, and even communication, if you want to think about the throat chakra. What's interesting to me is that the Queen of Coins is usually shown holding a coin, kind of, or a pentacle closely to her on her lap or in her chest. This woman appears to be making a gamble, so she does care about her security, but there seems to be like this willingness to say, okay, but if I want to be both secure and happy, I have to be willing to work hard, you know, work on those pentacles, put in the time, because pentacles are the longest timing card in the deck out of all the suits. But it's like she's also saying she wants to take that risk. She wants to go off the beaten path. And going forward into this, it can feel almost like this has got like literally hole in the walls and feeling chained. I think this is the illusion that's being overcome. There's a spade here, and that's very similar to the swords element when I do cartomancy with poker cards. But the difference is where swords can be seen as a bit more aggressive. Spades are literally a tool of labor rather than a tool of war. So it can feel almost like toiling, right? So instead of having maybe a 5 of Swords that's about very overt battling of words or a falling out, in a relationship. It can be about labor that feels unfair, or you feel like you're being forced to be stuck and committed to a form of labor that's not very fulfilling for you, that feels kind of like an obligation. With the Four of Swords here, usually it shows somebody at rest, somebody who is, you know, like a knight who's earned their stripes. They're in a very honorable demarked area. Sometimes it's looked at as like a mausoleum or a tomb, but a lot of times people interpret it as almost like a temporary sleeping because of the cards that come after it. And we do see like a cat just napping on the ground here. So it feels like for a lot of people, and it's like he's sitting in his emotions because he's got like the pink color of the heart chakra that he's wearing, or she's wearing, and or they're wearing, and like this blue sofa that's like the color of the emotions and the thoughts as well, right? Because if you're thinking of those throat chakra, not so much higher mind intuitive thoughts, but the thoughts that can kind of cycle over and over again in your mind, the things that you want to say but you don't. And this person is feeling held back. They're feeling like they're living in a situation where they got a hole in the wall and cracks in the wall. It's almost like this checkerboard is like they're sitting on a chessboard or a checkerboard, like they feel like they're a pawn maybe, and that they're stuck in some way. And I think that this is perhaps the illusion, this idea that you're powerless and stuck, even though you want to take this gamble, because we see somebody who's got like this barcode here. They feel like, you know, I'm thinking of like Les Miserables, or like even like more dark stories where a person is assigned a number. Moments in history where this has actually happened. We have the gas mask, so I will leave it at that. Somebody feeling very much like they've had to wear a mask, and like they're just a number to a machine. But the hidden thing here is this Five of Wands, and 5 is also the number of change. We get 3 and 2 as well coming into this. 5 of Wands often shows like quarreling, but I feel like this person is instead kind of pulling the spikes out of his face and almost saying like, and this is the clubs, this is the element of you know, that is the more combative element suit in the poker cards, right? A club is a traditional weapon, whereas wands are kind of can be used for a lot of things in the tarot. This is somebody who has come out of this energy and is willing to fight for themselves. That's the back of the deck. And then the top of the deck is the Ace of Cups, to pursue something out of love or passion, and really walking away from this. And maybe the temporary illusion is this idea that you're stuck, or you can't do it, or you'll never amount to anything, or you're not important. And the truth is, no, you are. In fact, I kind of feel... Yeah, okay, here we go. 8 of Cups. I pulled that from the top of the deck as well. Walking away from whatever this unfulfilling situation is. We see the same flying saucer in the background here. Walking away with all your cups in hand, the things that are important to you, the most important connections, but going forward into something that works a lot better for you. I feel called to actually pull one more. I wasn't going to pull a whole bunch of these cards just because they're so big, but I kind of want to. See, look at this. She's kind of gambling as well. But she's being like very astute about it. Whereas this person looks like a little bit like they're making their gamble, and maybe they're just starting out and figuring out how to do this. And it's going to take them a while to get to the point where, you know, she knows what she's doing. This is a queen who looks like she's on top of her game, and she really can't be fooled. And we have 3, 4, 5, 6 cups here. Hearts here. The hearts in this, the collar, and this cup here. I feel like consideration is a family, a lover with the 2 cups here, and the divine, the self, and needing to maybe speak up for oneself. She's got like a spike in here, but she can like see the game unfolding. And she's got the Q here on the dice, so it's almost like she feels like she's in charge of the game a bit more of her life. She's really walking away from from this. See here, this person's wearing like a full-on mask that completely covers the face. She's wearing one where it's like she's got one eye open and one eye with a question mark, like leaving maybe some people who aren't safe for her guessing. So for example, let's say that you're in a situation where you're walking away from a bad boss. Because I know somebody who this story will resonate for. This is just one. I'm going to use another example in a moment for something else. And you, in order to be able to smoothly transition to this new workplace, you can't completely not tell the person at all eventually when you have the new job, but it's probably not wise to tell them while you're applying or in the process of being hired for somewhere else all the details. So you got the one eye kind of with like this mysterious question mark and the other eye kind of looking at your options and being strategic, but you're no longer accepting this situation where you have to completely hide yourself or feel like another brick in the wall, right? And I want to look at the bottom of the deck again, right? The Knight of Coins. This is somebody who looks like, maybe there was a bit of fear about, like, if I make this gamble, will it turn out all right? Those are like very fearful looking eyes. But I think the overall message here is that, yeah, you can. You're going to end up pulling out a lot of painful spikes out of you. There's going to be this emotional renewal. You're going to be walking away. She's like smiling, walking away from this. Like, I'm no longer going to be a puppet. And I'm taking what matters with me. And this woman is like balancing a whole bunch of things at once. Herself, her dearest relationship, family or friends. And then she's also, I think, you could almost say looking at career or other things going on by how she's playing the game and looking at the table and the hidden hands here. She's got like the hand scratching her chin like, oh, I see that hand coming out from under the table, but I've got one of my own. I know what I'm doing. I've got an ace to play. Literally, she's got an ace to play. What matters to her, right? What's most important to her, the fact that she's passionate about this and she's finding out how worthy and deserving she is, or he or they are, for the difference, for the change that they want to see. And the illusion right now is this feeling stuck, this feeling trapped. That's what's being come out of. I think that's really good. Yeah. And so how this might look in relationship or other readings or whatever is going on for you is maybe you're walking away from a toxic situation and going after connections that make you feel more respected and seen. And maybe while you're doing that, you have to strategize. Let's say somebody is in an abusive situation. They have to kind of calculate, because I've been there, they have to kind of calculate, all right, how are you going to walk away from this without being sabotaged? But you are determined to walk away from it. That's what I'm seeing is the energy is a lot of people. I'm actually really glad that even though there's some dark energy here, the overall theme is walking away from that into something better. That's really beautiful. I'm really happy for that. So for whoever this resonates for, anybody I know who this resonates for, I'm happy for you, and I'm just jazzed to see this. I'm jazzed to see this. This is awesome. I like this energy. Let's move on to the Oracle cards so that I don't delay too much. I just opened up to Earth School, Life Lessons, Soul Growth, Study Higher Learning. So I think a lot of people are clearing up karmic cycles. That's what I was getting with the waning moon, is almost like an old, really stagnant, unhappy cycle, literally toxic, because we've got a gas mask here. Something was toxic that is being walked away from. For some people. And it might look on the outside like a lovely, happy place, but this person looks happy to be walking away from it. Like on the inside, maybe this almost looks like the same friggin' place too. Like it's a house of horrors on the inside, or if it's a workplace, it feels awful for you. Maybe that's an exaggeration for some people. I mean, it is a general reading. Take what resonates. Maybe House of Horrors isn't quite right for you. Maybe it's just like really stagnant and unhappy, and just not quite right. But I feel like with the gas mask, the chains, the holes in the wall, for some people, and the spikes coming out of the face, that's a little bit, I wasn't expecting that for this deck, but You know, I've had this deck forever, and I don't think I've ever pulled that card. So for somebody who's really feeling, they've been harmed before, they've been stabbed before, and they're really overcoming it. For some people, it really is a horribly toxic situation that you're coming out of. And I'm happy for you that you are. I'm seeing that they will be successful. You know, this is a person who is walking away. You may have to be willing to let go of some things. She doesn't have a whole lot on her. She or he or whoever. And she's got like these puzzle pieces on her shirt, just like the puzzle piece here. It's like she's figuring out, by walking away from this, she's figuring out where the puzzle pieces fit for her or him or them. But, yeah. I guess there's nothing more to really say about that except, you know, figure out what matters to you and go after that and leave anything else that isn't healthy for you behind. That seems to be what's going on with this reading. Did I? Oh, please tell me I didn't. Okay, I didn't. I don't like to shuffle it for chaos. I like to shuffle it with a bit more order in it. I do mostly upright cards unless... Oh my goodness. I'm taking it. I thought I didn't, but then I guess I did. I'm gonna have to fix this later. But we'll see. I don't usually do reversals for oracle cards, especially. But I'm gonna take upright for the rest of them. Let's see what else wants to come forward. Let me see why that wanted to come out in reverse. I feel like... Okay, I get it now. Earth School's coming out again. And the bottom is... Jump in, Andromedan energy, adventure, say us to change. I get why now. So this is the illusion. This is why it's in reverse, is it's repressed energy. So what does this say? The cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer, right? You're not alone, isolation, physical connection, community. So what's going on here is a lot of people know that they need to take this chance, but there is currently, right now, a feeling of trepidation, having this fear of jumping in, feeling like maybe you're going to be giving your all to something that isn't going to be given back to you, or you're having a hard time having faith. Make your life a moving prayer. You're not alone. Some people might be feeling very isolated right now, like they don't really have anybody to turn to or good community while they're dealing with this difficult situation. But the truth is you're not alone. That's the truth. The feeling of alone is the illusion. That's the fool, the trickery energy. And usually trickery in mythology is, you know, most of the tricks done by most of the tricksters in mythology has like this purpose of either helping the gods by tricking one of their enemies, or doing like a soft serve trickery that doesn't create too much damage, and that the trickster either fixes or it's easily fixable by the person who was tricked, and they learn some kind of not too difficult lesson. Every once in a while you'll get, you know, there are some tricksters like Papa Legba and others that do have a bit more difficult lessons. I would say even Odin has a bit of a trickster vibe to him that's a bit more harsh in terms of the lessons that can be learned, because the illusion or the trick can be a bit more, it can seem too real and it can seem too painful. Like Odin sacrificing himself, hanging on the tree. And the illusion right now is one of separation for a lot of people, and isolation. And that is a very, very difficult trick or illusion to feel like you're under. And it can create a lot of fear. It can be difficult to have faith and just jump in, take that leap like that fool. I knew that this was going to come up in this reading. I just had a feeling. But you're not alone. I'm going to put these up right now that I know that that's what that means. You're not alone. And then we also have trust in the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. I think when I've used this deck one other time on this channel, we got that card that time too. So that is a lesson that is coming up as a kind of huge karmic or spiritual theme for somebody or for several people who watch these. trusting the timing. It can be, and look, might even be for me a little bit too, because I know that I can sometimes struggle with impatience, but I think I do know some people who watch these probably have that difficulty as well. If we're part of the same spiritual tribe, that might be a collective lesson. Activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. Right, so if you're, so there's two things here. First of all, many of the solar festivals, we just came out of an equinox, do line up with certain very important locations around the world, certain historical monuments, pyramids, Stonehenge, other such places. That being said, I think this is about two other things as well. You might feel called to do a pilgrimage to one of these sites, but I think more likely than not, what this is meaning in this is, first of all, have your own sacred space, your own safe haven away from any of the toxic stuff going on that you can return to at the end of the day and just kind of unload and de-stress, so that you're not so consumed by the illusion energy that's making you feel alone and isolated. Because sometimes when you're around people who don't make you feel good, it can make you feel even more alone than when you're just by yourself. Whereas for other people, and maybe for some of those people as well, I'm also seeing trust where you're led is the thing that's standing out for me. And like there's this beam going up to the sky like a beacon. It's like you probably have an intuitive sense where you need to go, what you need to do. If there's like a specific workplace you're feeling drawn to, like very strongly drawn to, a specific person, a specific, you know, like club or organization for volunteering, whatever it is you're feeling called to do in life. Maybe you're being called to check out another religion or another spiritual path. Whatever it is that you're feeling called to do, where you're feeling led, trust that, because you need to jump in. It's part of your spiritual development in this lifetime. We've also got this, because I didn't put this upside down like I usually do. For whatever reason, I put this right side up, and it says star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. I do feel like a lot of people are part of closing out karmic cycles is that your energy system does purge a lot of toxic, tiring, exhausting, anxiety producing energy. And I think a lot of people are releasing a lot of that now. And sometimes right before it's completely released, it can feel its worst. It can feel the most scary. It can feel the most lonely. But it is, and then we've also got this, earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. Time in nature will help with that a lot. That feeling of anxiety that comes. And then we've also got double mission, light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. You may feel that you have either two missions in this life, or that you have a mission with somebody in particular who's important to you. What is this one? Yeah, integration and activation, spontaneous activation. A lot of people are going to be experiencing this quickly. Spontaneous activation makes a lot of sense for Aries season as well. It's a time where you would expect to have that kind of sudden spontaneous combustion of energy, right? We're going to get a few more oracle cards here. I don't want to waste too much time. Loyal heart. We saw something about a devoted heart in here, and then we've got the two owls. So, and owls are about wisdom and insight, intuition, dreams, things that are hidden. Very much a symbol of the high priestess. They kind of hide in their little owl hole, right? A change in the wind. Yeah, something's definitely changing for the positive. We saw somebody kind of, this person has like a tower, zebra has like a tower on their back. Zebras are people too. I'm just kidding. Has like the tower on their back. We saw this, this image of this person walking away from, almost like what I just realized this. It's almost like shaped like a tower, which is often in the tarot something that is a structure that needs to come down, right? Because it's built on hierarchy or something kind of nasty. Even though it looks nice on the outside, it looks crisp and clean and perfectly corporate, right? But this person is having a change in the wind, and it's almost like the wind is blowing away the tiles and pieces off of this. There's like flags, but like intuitively I'm seeing it as like, yeah, it's not just flags. There are things coming off of it. And there's like this little fairy here. It's almost like, that tower is being blown away and it's no longer going to be a burden on his back. And I think for anybody who is afraid that the right people won't be loyal to you, don't worry about that. Some people in this reading, you have somebody important to you who just intuitively sees into your heart very deeply. I think it's okay to trust that connection. What else wants to come forward here? I feel like the back of the deck sliding out of my hand. I feel like that wants to come out too. A leg up. Okay, so somebody may feel like they need some help. They may feel like they're starting something for this first time, like this little baby here. Like you might be doing something completely new. I also want to say that this is like 12th house energy, so that's also starting all over again. 12 is a very spiritual number to me. Kind of like the 12th hour, you're like, it's like an ending of something and a transition into a new beginning. Very rebirth energy. A leg up here, it's almost like you may be feeling like with this new start, you may be, part of the reason why you might be feeling fear about jumping in, as the earlier card suggested, or diving in, because this looks like diving, is because you may feel like maybe in this situation, right? So before I pull more cards, in this situation, this animal has not fallen to the ground. It's not completely broken yet. And there may be this part of you that thinks, oh, okay, it's not comfortable, but it's familiar. And this might be uncomfortable, but starting over feels uncomfortable too. It's cold. It's like walking into an ice bath. It's like jumping into something and I don't know what it's going to be like. I may have to start completely over. This might be oppressive for me, but at least I'm established and I'm rooted into this. And I may feel like I'm starting all over again like a baby by doing something completely different. I would say with that nurturing mother-like energy, and after Aries season, we go into Taurus season, which is like the earth mother to me. I would say take that leap. I mean, God, I don't want to tell anybody to do something that is going to be stupid for them or it's going to cause them, harm if they take an excessive gamble. Do, of course, follow your intuition and your wisdom and your own discernment. But what I'm seeing for this collective energy is that you're going to get that help you need. There's going to be a nurturing energy in your life that's going to help you. And so what? You're starting something new for the first time. Maybe it's time for that for your life. Maybe you don't have to go from birth to death and just you stay in one thing that makes you just feel like, okay, I've mastered this, or I've become established or comfortable, even though I'm uncomfortable in this. But I know what the trajectory is from here. Or you think because oftentimes life will hit us with hard knocks when we least expect it when we stay in a stagnant energy. I've been there as well. You think you're taking too big of a risk because it just means starting all over again. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe starting over with something completely new is better for you, because look at how much freer these two are. They're like out in the open and they're not being oppressed by something weighing them down on their back. Wouldn't that be better? So you have to start over and you're putting in time into something new. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Especially if it has the potential for more growth and happiness and freedom and just good things for your life, and you can stay doing something that you've already put a lot of energy into and it'll drain you for the rest of your life because it's a draining and oppressive situation. Or you can start all over again and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be exhausting. It's like, maybe not. Do you remember when you started the things that you were passionate about before and it felt like you were being taken by the wind because you were just investing so much time into something that felt energy giving and life giving and you were passionate about? And if you had never known what that feels like, maybe that's something worth trying to take a jump into. I think that a lot of people here are going to be, sorry, just making sure that everything's coming up. I think a lot of people here are going to be feeling like what was I so scared of? This was the scary situation. This is the better situation. So, you know, take that as it resonates, but I would say take that leap. Take that leap of faith. That's what the cards are saying, I think. You're going to have that leg up that you need. You don't expect it now because you think you're alone, but you're not. To be fair, all that glitters. We've got the more masks, a higher power, TikTok. Time for a nap. Okay, and at the end of that, and this is going to be, so we had the waning crescent, this is the waxing crescent, and we've got like the little trickster energy here. So once the illusion is over and you've taken that leap, you've put the work into this new thing, I think a lot of people are going to be feeling like they can get the rest that they need because they're finally going to be able to relax, that they're not feeling so oppressed all the time by whatever this situation is. And with the zebra here, I'm even being called to talk about black and white thinking and catastrophizing. Maybe it's not so black and white, right? Maybe it's not, whatever the situation is you're thinking of, it's not going to be like, oh, it's either going to be so hard or it's going to be perfect. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of difficulty because you're starting something completely new, but maybe it'll be worth it because it's overall a net positive. And that might be what that balance is here. The to be fair, and it's got this little owl on the top here as well. And here we have even a fortune cookie and like a little stable bun, like one of those fried buns, kind of like balancing each other out here. It's almost like saying, you know, it's not all one or the other. It's a balance between the two. You do put in some of that stabilizing work, and there's a little bit of, you know, divine luck. Kind of being a mix in this situation. It's a bit of both. All that glitters, we've got like this face in the back, like a divine face. And of course, that's a Tolkien reference. Not all that glitters is gold. It's leaving behind things that are... So the archetypal symbol of gold has two major... representations in the collective unconscious. That is the golden calf and the gold that was given as a gift to the baby Jesus during the nativity, during around Christmas time. And one of those things is the worshiping and idolizing of material things and surface level things and things that glitter above spirituality. And the other of those things is recognizing the alchemical healing properties of gold, because you were given frankincense, myrrh, and gold. Those are all things that have alchemical healing properties that were being given to the Christ child, because this was a divine presence among us. And so we're giving these gifts of healing because this is a divine presence that's going to heal us in return, right? It's a fair offering. It's to be fair. So all that glitters isn't gold. I think it's talking about ripping off that mask, that illusion, that surface level stuff, and finding that divinity underneath the alchemical gold, right? The thing that takes lead, the alchemist's mission to take lead, something that's poisonous, and turn it into gold, something that's medicinal and has value, right? Of course, we know that lead has been used in valuable ways in the past historically, but this is just like symbolic, right? Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be kind of having the poison sapped out of their life by letting go of the surface level gold and focusing more on that solar energy, that divine gold, instead, the heart of gold, right? Rather than the golden calf or the shiny, glittery things that are distractions from what really matters in life, that higher power, that third eye wisdom and knowledge. And here's again the thing of illusion, feeling like time is flying away from you or running away from you. This person's trying to grasp the clock. I think we saw something else about timing, just feeling like overwhelmed by having a lot to do. We have the number 9 here. That's also a number of endings in numerology, and it's the number of expansion in the houses, in the astrological houses, expansion, learning, long distance travel, things like that. And then after this situation is done, which is the illusion right now, that you don't have time, or that time is running away from you, or that you won't get things done that you need to in the nick of time, try to take a breather. And we even see hours that don't actually exist on here, like 14, 15. So we know that that's the illusion, right? And it's just being knocked off the clock. And it's like, I mean, I guess unless you did military time, but no clock like this is built that way. It's walking away from fear, right? It's understanding that, yes, being mindful of time matters, but, and budgeting your time well matters, but don't be so anxious over timing, because you're not going to actually accomplish much of anything if you're scared or stressing while you're doing it, right? Some people perform well under pressure, but there's a difference between the pressure that's like this desire to achieve, and this knowing that you need to accomplish something like this, and having the confidence to say, okay, I can do it. I just got to put my nose to the grindstone, and here's the constraint. Oh, I got it done. But then there's like the paralyzing fear. It's like, oh, I don't think I can do this. You know, if that's the kind of pressure you're under, let that go. Let that go. I'm going to take one more just because I feel like I want to, this is going a lot longer than I thought I was going to. I want to see if there's anything that will clarify TikTok. Come to the edge. Yeah, there you go. Fork in the road. Yeah, I can see that. Kind of resonates. For some people, it may be feeling like walking away from that toxic situation, going into that new situation. That's just kind of an overall energy again for the back of the deck. But for this, I feel like this is the thing. It's, you know, just have that leap of faith again, that fool's energy. And just know, if you trust in the divine, if you trust on your own internal resources and your ability to do things, the right people will come along who will help you, because you're going to be aligning energetically with those people by pursuing the things that matter to you. Take that leap of faith. Things are going to work out. We're going to take some angel guidance, and then we're going to do the demonology. Courage. Communion. Okay. What do the angels want to say about this situation for this collective energy? Gratitude. Okay. What do the angels want to say about the collective energy of this reading and what's coming for us with this Aries new moon? Oh gosh. And I would say that courage, which came up earlier, was very much an Aries energy. What else would the angels like to say? Yeah. Okay, yeah, and I was talking about how a lot of people are going to be purging out the poison and taking in that more alchemical quality of gold that's not materialistic, but or vain surface level nonsense, but spiritual and deeper. Cleansing. All of that. We even see like purging fire and water. Nobody enters the kingdom of heaven except through fire and water. So, right, and then we have benediction, security, and gratitude. I think this is just about keeping a positive mindset and not buying into the illusion that we're all coming out of. You are blessed. You are protected. That's like the divine touch of God right there, reaching out. And the fingers are actually touching here instead of being far away from each other. It's, you're not alone, getting past that illusion of feeling alone and knowing that you are protected. The divine is touching your heart, touching you spiritually, and that you are being protected and provided for. Having gratitude for what you have. Didn't want to necessarily bring this up, but we all know what's going on in the world right now. There are people who have had everything ripped from them. If you're not one of those people, and for those people, you know, let's just be grateful that there are people trying to help them. And, you know, that doesn't mean it's not valid to feel upset and acknowledge the feelings of, oh, you've come out of a toxic situation. Other people have, who you watched, who you care about, maybe have. You know, feeling like, oh, that was awful. That's totally valid. At the same time, that alone, acknowledging that and processing that will help you to heal, but it will not necessarily give a practical solution. It won't necessarily give pentacles, that alchemical gold, for how to move forward and solve the situation or see things change in a positive way. And we're in that Aries season of positive change and starting something new. To get there, you start with gratitude. You know, be grateful for the opportunity to start something new. Be grateful that there is a door that can even be opened. Be grateful that there are people who want to help. Be grateful that you have, if you're not one of those people who've had so much ripped from them, do you have some of your basic needs right now? I'm willing to bet most people watching this right now are. So be grateful for your food and the roof over your head. It seems like such a little thing, but it's actually really big in the context of the whole world. Our problems can seem so huge, and it can be. It is not that it's wrong to say that, oh, you know, if you've been in an abusive work situation or an abusive relationship, that matters a lot. You don't deserve to go through that, but you are protected. You are blessed. You're going to have that cleansed out of your life. You're going to experience joy. Be grateful for the good things that do exist so that you can expand on those and let go of what's not good. And practicing gratitude, it's not about saying that you have to be grateful for the bad things. It's about being grateful for the things that are good, that give you an opportunity to walk away from bad things or to heal from bad things or get past the bad things. Gratitude helps you to not catastrophize, not be in that energy of aloneness or feeling stuck. It makes you have a mindset of knowing, okay, so yeah, there are some things I'm not grateful for, that I'm not happy about, but you're able to make it so that that is not your entire worldview, that you're not living in a negative bubble of that's just your life and that's everything. When you practice gratitude, you're able to see, actually, there's a lot that I could expand on and make things better for myself. You know, there's this opportunity to walk away from bad things because, oh, I actually have a lot more blessings than I thought I had. Why don't I focus on expanding that or going down that path? Hey, there's actually a door here. I didn't even realize it. Gratitude is about separating out the things that aren't good from the things that are in your life and really focusing on that good and saying, this is what I want. This is what I want more of. And I'm grateful that I even have this in my life in the first place. So I'm going to, surrender to the divine's, you know, blessings and guidance for you. Take that leap of faith. Expect powerful change. You and your loved ones are safe. As I'm trying to, oh gosh, big cards. There we go. And let's see what's coming for us with this Aries new moon. What does the divine want us to know about this Aries new moon for this collective group? You are good enough. A time for healing. Again, we've got that waning crescent moon. Healing from the things that you're walking away from. What else would the divine like us to know? I'm going to just take the back of the deck. Confidence is your key to success. And there we have a new moon in Leo, but also kind of we see just like the very bare sliver of a waxing crescent coming in as well. But once again, we have that waning and waxing next to each other. Yeah, I think so. That's exactly right. That's the overall message of this reading is you are good enough. Whatever the illusion is that makes you think that you're alone or trapped, actually you're good enough, you're blessed, you're abundant in ways that you don't realize. Maybe you want more of that, but focus on what you do have and expand on that. You are protected. Whatever is coming to a close, this is a time for healing and getting past that. And be confident that you and your loved ones are safe and that you are capable. You are powerful. This is like this Leo lion. You're powerful. And we're in the year of the tiger as well for Chinese astrology once again. You're powerful. You know, you're capable. You can get through this. This is who you've been for lifetimes. You are strong. You have been through so much. You've got this. Don't be afraid. You're good enough. You've got nothing to be afraid of. that is the message for this. Courage, Aries new moon, wishing you all the best.